welcome to another edition of Long Beach Treasures. I'm your host, Harvey Keller. Today we're going to be talking with a renowned artist, Dior Vargas, and he is a master in the art of batik. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tell me, my high school education of batik was in the art classes when they used to do cloth, and they would put removable wax on the part that they didn't want to dye, and that was batik. But you're far light years ahead of that process.
Very much so. We do, well, the batik on fabric is with wax, but batik on rice paper is not wax.
Now, what is rice paper?
Rice paper is a Japanese ancient technique of the old scribbles of Japan. And I started in Japan when I was young and beautiful, but now I'm doing the paintings that it's very rare. There were 3 people in the world that could do it. 1 man, 1 woman in Japan, and I was the 3rd one. Since then, since 1967, the 2 other people died, and I'm the only one alive, and I'm 75 years old now.
Now, what's going to happen when you're no longer with us? Do you have a protege that you're training? Is somebody being trained in this
I
art?
have 3 in mind, but they're lazy. I need somebody who likes to work in art.
Now, how did you get started in this?
Well, I was doing some artwork for Hawaii Five-0, the television show in Honolulu.
And you designed the shirts for them?
I designed the shirts, and I designed the set designs and the fabric for the holokus and muumuus and shirts. And one day I was driving on Alawai Canal in Honolulu, and I saw this old man, bow-legged and short guy, and I looked at him and I said, man, he's never gonna make it. So I stopped and I tried to give him a ride. He said, oh, thank you very much. So I gave him a ride, I took it home. He said, I remember you from the television show about Friday, because we have an Aloha show in Honolulu on Friday. Everybody wear Aloha shirt, including the governor. And then he said, I remember you from the show. I'd like to show you something. And I said, okay. So he stopped, we got off the car, and he opened the door, and it was like the movie The Wizard of Oz, that starts in black and white, and then when you open the door, it starts in color. And I said to him, oh my God, what is this? He said, this is batik on rice paper. I said, I know batik, but not on rice paper. He said, I'm the only one that can do it right now in the United States. I said, I'd love to learn how to do this. He said, I'd love to teach it. So he showed me the paintings, and I was completely with my mouth dripping. It was incredible. So I said, how long would it take to do this? He said, well, it takes a long time. So he asked me if I would come to Japan with him, and I say, oh, I cannot afford it. I cannot afford to go to Japan. And he said, okay, I'll tell you what, this coming September, I take you to Japan, and I pay the way. I said, I cannot do that. I said, well, my wife and kids, you know, I cannot abandon them just like that. So he said, don't worry about it, it's going to be just a few weeks. But the problem is that I didn't realize that September in Japan is very cold. And Japan is south of Russia or Siberia. So I said, okay, we're going to be doing that. We're going to do that for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but I had to be warm. But I didn't realize Japan was so cold in the winter, so I was shivering, just like a little kid. And I told him, I said, you know, I can't take this. So he said, okay, next time we'll come over. We'll come in the summer. I said, is it the next time? He said, yes, this is very, very tedious work. So when I learned how to do it, I knew it was tedious. I realized it was very tedious.
So this is the only formal training you had was by Mr. Nakamura?
No, I went to school in Miami. I went to school in Spain about art. But
for this process?
The batik itself, yes. It was the first time. But I picked it up like this because I loved it.
Now, evidently, you didn't start in batik. What was the media?
I did batik before, but I did it on fabric with wax. But this is all together. It's like a spelling backwards.
And I believe you said that you do not use paint?
No, I don't use paints. I use dyes from the Philippines.
And that's the only place you
From
can get?
different places of the Philippines. That's the only dye that would take the acid that I put into the painting.
You know what that reminds me of is the Indians when they used to use berries and natural elements to do their dye work.
Just about basically the same thing,
So it's
but with acid.
and now you've done some phenomenal things. I know right now you're working on a 1974 Rolls Royce that
Yes.
you're going to batik.
Yes. No, it's already batik. They have to put the lacquer on.
Oh,
They're doing the lacquer now.
and
I like to show you that.
well, we will go see it. Maybe not today, but I do want to see it. Now, how long did it take you to batik the car?
Oh, well, since I'm an old man and I suffer from arthritis, and I had a prostate operation, I had to go very slow. But it took me about 8 months.
Let's step over here a minute, and so we can show these paintings and explain the three paintings here for me.
Well, this is a copy of one of my teachers, Takeo Nakamura painting, that I did in order to show him that I could do this type of work according to what he said to me. And it worked he told me, he said, it's almost 100%, but it's still 95. I said, you get better as you go along, and I did, because this is a different painting than that. This is a painting that looks like it's done on rice paper fabric, and this one, it looks like it's marble. It's like a cloud in the background. This painting is a Cecil Palace Hotel copy of the statue at the entrance of Cecil Palace Hotel.
Oh, in Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas. And this one is a painting that I saw a photograph of, I think it was one of the old magazines, the
National Geographic?
National Geographic magazine. I saw a guy, this is in Peru, I saw a guy taking pictures of these ladies and this man. So I was behind him taking a picture of the painting, of the people also, and I took that copy and I made a painting out of it. Because I love the pose that they had. This is native people of Peru, like the indigenous of Peru, the Indians. And they wear the same thing they wear every day. So I figure, what a painting this is going to be.
Now, you know, when I go up and I touch one of these paintings, it doesn't feel like a painting. It feels more like a photograph.
It's like the painting is from a photograph. I do paintings from photograph because if I put you in the sun right now and I do a sketch out of you, the sun moves. So the shadows in your face move, so I cannot do it. Besides, I'm too old to do that anyway. What I do is I take your photograph and I do a painting from a photograph, because that way I can figure out which one is the right thing to do on the face, on the clothing, the background, your hair, whatever.
Now, how long would it take you to do a painting like the Oriental lady here?
At the beginning, it took me almost 6 months to do a painting.
One painting?
One painting, it took me 6 months. But then I developed a system on my own from what I learned in Japan. And I figured I had to rush this work because I'm going to starve to death if I continue doing a painting, one painting every 6 months. So I decided to invent something, and I did. Now I can do a painting in 3 weeks.
Would it be unfair of me to ask you the prices of some of your paintings? Or would you rather not?
Or before?
Either way.
Well, before I used to charge $35,000 a painting. Today, each one of those paintings is $4 million.
Really?
Dollars.
Now, I want to go...
Not pesos.
I want to go back to the automobiles for a minute, too, because I know you batiqued an antique car for the King of Saudi Arabia.
The King of Saudi Arabia and the Prime Minister of England.
And then
the one before this one.
And also you batiqued Princess Diana's MG.
Princess Diana's car. You had a photograph of the book.
Now, I can't imagine Princess Diana wanting to drive a batiqued automobile, because I wouldn't think that she would want to attract the attention that this would cause.
At the time, my son's wife and him, They live in London. And they made friends with Lady Ashley. Lady Ashley is a good friend of Princess Diana, a very close friend of Princess Diana when she was alive. And she told my daughter-in-law, I said, how about doing a car for Princess Diana? She has an AMG that she probably don't use anymore. And why don't you, but your father batik that? So I said, okay, if it's for Princess Diana, that would be fantastic. So I did the car. The only problem is that the director of whatever she was doing at the time told me, you cannot put your name on the car. So I did put my name on the car, but on reverse.
Now, how did you know it was Princess Diana?
Because I met her. I said, Your Highness, what color would you like? The sample that I have inside, he already took a picture of. It's the original sample that I showed Princess Diana. She said, okay, that's the way I want the car, and I did it that way. The only thing is that it came out better in her car than the sample that I did for her.
Now, I know you have a lot of celebrities who are collectors of yours. I believe Cher, Sean Connery, the Sultan of Brunei, the Emperor of Japan, and the list goes on and on and on and on.
That's when I was not charging too much money for the painting.
How did you get such an international reputation?
My daughter-in-law is a lawyer, and my son married her, and every time she traveled or they traveled, they took me with them. So I met them through my son and my daughter-in-law.
And I understand you've made many, many trips around the world?
About 33. And
you've had shows in most of the major cities around the world?
Yeah, I had shows in Monaco, I had shows in Paris. As a matter of fact, one of the photographs in the book shows you the first prize I won in Paris in 1989 when the Berlin Wall came down. And I was there in Paris at the time.
Now, are you still batiking, or are you retired, semi-retired?
I am retired, but there's a big deal coming up. They're going to produce a lot of money, but I'm old and beautiful, and I'm very tired. So I don't know if I'll be able to go back to work unless they pay me my price. If they pay me my price, okay. If they don't, go to Kmart.
Do you think Kmart can afford to sell some of these
I don't think so, but at least they can go to Kmart instead of coming to me.
Well, what's your nationality?
I'm Cuban.
Born in Cuba?
No, born in Hawaii, raised in Cuba and Spain. This is why I met so many people. As a matter of fact, you know, my daughter-in-law talked to the King of Spain about me, and he showed him my book, another book she has like the one I have here. And he said, I would love to have this guy working for us here in Spain. And I said to my daughter, I said, tell the King of Spain, where's the money?
See, you can be a Spanish national treasure as well as a Long Beach treasure.
That's right, that's right. And Long Beach is a perfect place to do this kind of work because it's isolated from everybody. That's why all the movies, they say is in Los Angeles, but it's actually Long Beach.
Now, you haven't lived in Long Beach very long.
7 years altogether.
And before
Since
that?
1997, I live in Miami. And before that, I live in Europe and Hawaii.
Now, you batik furniture.
I'm an international traveler jerk.
You batik furniture, paintings, automobiles. You even batiqued a guitar for Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi, yeah.
Where do you get all of your ideas?
The Bon Jovi thing, it was a friend of mine knew a fabric, a guitar fabric company. So he asked me, will you do this to show on television? And I said, well, I don't know. He said, well, it's going to be for Bon Jovi. I said, okay, then I do it for free. Then I did Bon Jovi guitar, and I gave it to the owner of the shop, and the owner of the shop gave it to him.
Now, you've also designed materials or outfits for Cher, Bob Mackie.
No, I didn't design I didn't design the dress or the shirt. I designed the fabric that goes on the shirt. And all I can do is design the fabric, the wallpaper, fabrics, texture.
You do all media.
All media. The only thing I can even put the batik on glass. I have a couple of jars that are made out of glass that I put batik on. It looks like marble. They love it.
And how old were you when you started this?
Oh, that was about 1,000 years ago.
I don't think it was quite that long.
No, I was in my 50s. When my son Juanito was born in 1950, I started doing the batik on wax. Or I should say, I use wax instead of the dyes and the rice paper that I use now. The problem, the problem with the batik, the problem with the batik, it's not a problem, it's difficult. Batik and rice paper is the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. And I've been an artist all my life since I was a little kid.
Is rice paper expensive?
Not if you, or I had to go to Japan and get the rice paper because the pulp that goes into the rice paper, the natural one in Japan is, I cannot use it. I have to use a more soft and flexible rice paper.
Now
because if it's too thick, it doesn't take the dye.
It seems obvious, but it may not be. Is rice paper made out of rice?
Yes, of course.
Oh,
Well, the thing on this is, I have designed the rice paper to be done in Japan by the people. I taught them how to do it because, not that I know how to do it, but every time they show me a sample, it was too thick or too thin or too soft or too hard. And when we finally got it right, the people that I do business with in Japan, they'll learn how to do it my way. And I say, you have to sign me a paper that you will not reveal anybody how you do this paper.
now batik is not something new. It evidently has been around for.
Batik is thousands of years old.
So it's centuries
older than
old.
you and I together.
Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know about that. So it's the same process has been for centuries? But
Many said. As a matter of fact, according to what I know about this batik, Takeo Nakamura told me, this is from the 16th century, that the old Japan.
And they use the same process that you use now?
They use the same process I use now. The only thing that I embellished a little bit because I couldn't wait for a painting to be done for 6 months.
Yeah.
So I figured, well, I have to find a way to do it. So I developed a system, I developed an asset that I can do it probably better than what they do now, but it's still basically the same thing. The only thing I can do it faster now.
Do you possibly have a website, or if somebody wants to contact you,
Well-
how would they go about it?
Well, I don't have a website now, but if you look for Dior Vargas and push down search, you see all the people in the world, all over the world, that have my work, and they selling my work.
You know, I went on the internet last night and I did that, and I could only find one painting, and it was the geisha.
The geisha. But you have to go and look for, what is the name of that company? Yahoo.
Oh.
In Yahoo you can find all the whole shebang.
I know we're filming here at Lion.
You have to read. After you find the painting, you have to read how many places in the world has my painting. I think it's about 450.
I know we're filming here at Lions on 4th and on 4th Street here. Can they contact you here?
Yes, they can. They can contact me at 240
4th Street.
4th Street, on the corner of Elms.
Okay. That's Lions framing and...
Paintings and framing and supplies and so forth. These people are very, very good to me. Very good to me. Anyway, the process, according to what I know now,
Go ahead.
the process, according to what I know now, I'm the only one alive doing this kind of work.
Well, that'll be a shame if no one carries on the tradition.
I can teach you.
Oh, I don't know if I would be artistic enough at my advanced age, I don't know if I would be around long enough to learn the technique.
I can teach John.
Well, maybe John might want to do it. I mean, he can carry it on. Now, I assume this is a shirt that you batiqued?
Yes, I did. But this shirt is older than you.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I did.
Now, was this done with a wax process?
No, this is done with a rice paper.
It is?
Yes, yeah. But when I started in 1954, I didn't know what I was doing, really. So I charged a little bit of money. So the people who own my paintings today, all over the world, They got millions of dollars in their hands. But I'm still poor, though.
So they've gone up in value over the years.
Very much so. Very much. Incredible.
Do you still have art shows?
Not now. I'm going to be doing some shows in Spain eventually. And there's a guy in Europe that wants to contract me. And I told him, I said, you don't have too many billions of dollars to pay me for my work.
Now, do you have any of your artwork in any of the galleries around the world anywhere?
They are in Madrid. They are in Monaco. They are in Colombia, Medellin, Colombia.
You know, I also have to bring up the fact that I think it was between 1930 and 1960. I believe it was your cousin who did the Vargas girls. And I remember those from Playboy magazine, from the calendar. And so your whole family artistic?
Most of it. My son is very artistic also, and my grandson.
In what media?
And the batik media.
So they know?
They know how to do it, but they said, Dad, how come I can do it, but it doesn't come out as good as yours? I said, because I do it with this, and you do it with this.
So with their having the knowledge of how to do the process, it's not going to be lost. There'll still be somebody...
No, it's not going to be lost, but they don't want to do it because they have their own business and they're making good money, so they don't care to do it. But I have a couple of guys. One is from Tijuana, and the other one is from Honolulu. There are actually 3 guys, another one in Spain, when I went to school in Spain and when I was a little boy.
Now, does it take longer to do a table, a car, an object than it does to do a painting?
Well, the car took me a long time because I have arthritis, and I had a prostate operation, and I'm 75 years old. I cannot do it too fast now, but before I used to be fantastic. I used to rush and get it done properly, because it's not to do it, it's to do it right, to do it fast and to do it good.
Now, do you have a backlog, I don't know if that's the right word, of paintings that are still available for the public?
Yes.
So all
many millions of dollars.
All they have to do is contact you?
But I'm not a salesman, I'm an artist. When somebody doesn't like my painting, or they criticize my painting, or they want to bring the price down, I say, get out of here. Goodbye. Arrivederci, Roma.
So you have the artist attitude.
Very much so. I was born with that attitude. And I don't take low because I figure it took me too long to learn how to do this right. I'm not going to get away for nothing.
Is Mr. Nakamura still alive?
No, he died a long time ago in Brazil. His son was in Brazil, and he asked him to come over, so he got sick and died because Brazil doesn't have the health care that we have in the United States.
No.
So he got sick and he just died.
I want to thank you for letting me interview you and to see all of your beautiful artwork, and it's quite impressive, and I must say you're quite impressive.
I am?
Yes.
You're quite impressive because you're on television, I'm not.
Well, you are going to be then.
Well, now, yes.
Thank you so much for joining me and showing us your beautiful artwork and telling us all about batiking.
Thank you for your time.
And that's our show for now, so glad you joined us, and join us again next month as we take another walk through history and uncover more Long Beach treasures.